right back, Charlie.
There's always just that active when defenders, I think, it's like. There's always just that active when defenders, I think, it's like.
People deluded.
There's always just that active when defenders, I think, it's like.
People deluded. I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man.
Come on, Ian, I could take it from here. Sorry for the technical difficulties at the beginning, but people deluded, I'm back again. Happy new month in advance. Hope everyone's had a great July. Obviously, I say happy new month in advance because it's almost August, people. The summer is flying. I hope you lot had a great weekend. And yeah, man, you know, this week has started off with a bang where Arsenal's concerned, or specifically Arsenal outgoings. Saying that, we're talking about potentially somebody coming into the club in David Raya. Again, a player, a goalkeeper specifically, we tried to sign a few years ago. And the transfer news has gone full circle. We've been linked with the lad at Napoli. If you lot believe that we're going to go for him, fair enough. Anything can happen. I believe the tabloids are bored and they're starved for clicks. So they're making up clickbait. And for me, the most promising thing is it seems like Arsenal are starting to get a move on with outgoings. It remains unclear if Lokonga and Austin Trust, if they're going to leave on loan or permanently. Obviously, Balogun to Inter Milan keeps heating up with every day that comes. Any talking points, questions, etc., get them in. This will be a shortly, or is actually shortly even a word? I wish we weren't live because I could start again and research that. A slightly shorter live stream because I'm aware we need to go play Football Manager in a bit, and I shagged you lot on Friday. A wake-up call for Rambo, wake-up call for anyone. For Ramsdale, you know, you had to wait a little bit before you took Leno's spot. Since then, you've been one of the poster boys. You've been playing week in, week out. But like you said, it's a wake-up call. He just signed a new deal, basically, as well. Arteta is bringing in a Premier League proven goalkeeper, and we've spoken about Raya at length before. And actually, I've done a tactical vid. You know, they're very quite similar in terms of how they play and their metrics. And obviously, that has to be the case because Arteta is going to want to identify a keeper that can play a system. With the greatest of respect to Matt Turner, the man's 29 and he's nowhere near dislodging Ramsdale of a spot. Respectfully, I think Ramsdale's up here. I think Turner's down there. I think Raya and Ramsdale, potentially you could say Raya's better than him, or they're in the same kind of bracket. So if Ramsdale is going through dry periods or periods where you expect a bit better, you've got a Spanish international breathing down your neck. And even Raya, he's not mistake proven. You know, don't have the footage to hand, but I remember he made a great error when Sterling was at City. I'm sure last season he did something against Newcastle, and a few years ago in a playoff game at Wembley, you know, he mistimed a free kick and he looked like a bit of a clown. But I like his mentality. I like obviously his reflexes. I like the fact that he likes to collect balls from aerial situations. I like his reactions to making a mistake. There's a lot to like about the guy, people. There's a lot to like about him. Terry, Gio, American Gooner, one love, man, to you lot tuned in. I sent you a message in relation to them North London Derby tickets as well. Raya would be a good signing because another Premier League proven kind of guy. I'm happy that you're locked in, John, man. So good afternoon. Bit of a twitch on Raya. Jury is out. RE on Ramsdale's development. I would say with Ramsdale, I like him. I just think I'd say the one thing I think Raya has in abundance over you is the level of focus. As you know, Ramsdale has saved our bacon, Leeds away, Leicester a few years ago. You know, Ramsdale, I think everyone's going to kind of disrespect him. He got what, like 9-10 clean sheets away from home last season, and he saved us plenty of times. Of course, like everybody, I wish I was. like everybody, Ramsdale's got things that could be improved in his game, and sometimes it's been like last season. There was a collection of errors that led to a goal, and when it got to the last line of defense, which is Ramsdale, you might have thought, "Oh, could he have came out quicker? Could he have closed the angle? Could he have, done better at his front and near post? Could he make better decision makings?" And as much as I like Ramsdale, he is prone to those kind of moments of madness where you can't really justify it, but mistakes happen. I just want the best for Arsenal Football Club. David Raya allegedly has rejected Bayern Munich. Not sure where that's in regards. He has to see himself as number one, and I don't know where we stand. I think on one hand, clearly Arteta wants the best of both worlds, people pushing, making everyone better, a stronger squad, all of that jazz. But some way down the line, Raya, who's 27 and says, "I want to play in Europe, I want to be the number one for Spain." I'm sure Ramsdale wants to do these things. At some point, one of them might have to go in years to come, because if Raya or Ramsdale are accepting that they're number two for this season or the seasons to come, then fair enough. But we've been here before with Ramsdale and Leno, with Leno in check. You've seen it at Chelsea with Courtois in check. United had a bit of a similar situation with Dean Henderson and De Gea. You can't really have two guys that want to be number one. It doesn't really work like that. May the best man win. And I would love to have a conversation with Arteta, because when you go back to the summer we bought Ramsdale, we tried to get Raya. We tried to get him since the moment Brentford were promoted. I'd love to ask him honestly, and this ain't the Ramsdale hate brigade, nor is it designed to gas up Raya, but which one was you feeling most? Because they're both very similar, very different. Two footballers are very different, but they're both very similar in terms of the style and how they apply to the team. So where did that, was Ramsdale first on the short list and Raya was fourth? I'd love to see that. I personally believe this is a market opportunity. I think we was proactive where it comes to, bringing in Havertz, Timber and Rice. Obviously, we're trying to get a move on getting players off, but I think now we can kind of sit back and see what the market is saying. Kudus, Ajax don't really want to sell you. Maybe you force their hand as the market goes on. Raya's made clear from the jump the man wants to leave Brentford, whether that's the Spurs, Chelsea, Bayern Munich or any other team. As it goes on, the fact is he's got a year left on his deal. They signed him for 3 million. So on the face of it, fantastic scouting from Brentford, but it's not really that deep if they lose him. But saying that, they might have to budge on their 40 million valuation, because 6 months from now, if Bayern Munich come back in for him again, they can obviously agree a move for him for free for next summer. But more interested in a real move the needle right forward. I hear that. S, appreciate you. Hope you're doing blessed, man. Pick up the chat as well. Ramsdale needs to get better at protecting his near post. Conceded lots of near post goals this preseason, which is true. You're right in that. And I would say individual mistakes in our team, because I'm not trying to catch anyone out, but Odegaard lost, and it happens. This is football. People make mistakes. People lose the ball. It's all about turnovers. Odegaard lost the ball against Barcelona in the middle of the park. You've seen that before. Ramsdale, wow, I don't think he was alone, because we were cut open in like 5 passes from Man United when Bruno scored, between not following runners, allowing Bruno to shoot, not doing better in terms of allowing them to play out from the back initially. There were several things we could have done better. But when it came to Ramsdale, I did think he could have saved that Bruno shot. So it's these sort of things. Obviously, Gabriel in the same game messed up against Sancho. I'm not trying to catch anyone out. Is that these are the Achilles heels. These are the things that kind of shagged us last season for as good as we got. Yeah, I don't like this culture of knocking someone down to lift someone else up. You can like someone else without clowning another. Exactly. But the problem with that, John, is football, in it right now. Raya's the shiny new toy. If he does sign, assuming we do sign people, I do think, people have to rate Ramsdale. I think Ramsdale's a larger-than-life personality. I think he takes everything on the chin. In terms of us working-class people, I think he's one of the most identifiable. I think he holds his hands up when he makes mistakes. I think he's got plenty of errors and things that need to get better, but there's been many times Ramsdale saved our bacon, really and truly. And I'm happy with Ramsdale. If Arteta wants Raya, may the best man win. It's a bit like Timber, a bit like Benjamin White. Ramsdale might be looking, a bit like Ramsdale, White might be looking at Arteta like, I thought it was your guy. Like, you talk about new deals. I'm playing week in, week out. You bought me for X amount of money. Now you're trying to replace me. But this is the reality now. And let's be very honest. Yeah. Big up Mikel Arteta. Definitely since we moved to the Emirates, we're looking a lot more competitive in recent years. But let's be real. A lot of these players, and even the ones I like, they're living. This is Arsenal Football Club. You should always, not that you should be dropping players and stuff, but there should always be that sense of pressure. If I don't hold on to my shirt, someone's going to take it. And let's be real, as much as Saka has earned that right to be one of the first names on the team sheet, there's not a team like Arsenal. There should be 2-3 players that could play ahead of him or fighting for that spot. Obviously, Ramsdale's a goalie, but the same logic to him, the same logic to White, the same logic to even William Saliba, who's the best thing since sliced bread, arguably. Big up the Twitch gang. If you're on YouTube, smash the like button, and they've been afforded that. And now we need a squad, really and truly. And this is what we need to do. So we'll have to see, man. But again, any talk of Raya signing for Arsenal at this moment, it is somewhat premature because, again, we haven't heard anything about bids being placed, bids being accepted. We're now hearing about personal terms and whatnot, people. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. I don't want to spoil it, but again, a tactical analysis video is coming out. I kind of compared Ramsdale and White. You know, I just need to literally upload the thumbnail and it'll be out for you lot probably this evening. So, yeah, man, just wait on it. I got you. It's very much like Pep. No shock in that. You have to be good, but you have a chance for something you think is better. So be quick, be ruthless, and make the call. Exactly. You know, Raya's become available. If you really like, you make it happen. I don't personally think Arsenal are going to spend 40 million because logically, that's the asking price Brentford are asking for right now. At the end of the day, you pay the money, you get the player, but that's the asking price. He's got a year left on his deal. Clearly, he's admired by a lot of top teams in Europe. I won't extend that luxury to Spurs, lol, but they were linked with him. Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Arsenal been linked with him. There's probably a bunch of other clubs that were in the back burners, you know, while Arsenal had an admiration for him. And obviously, we've all woken up today and it's all Raya to Arsenal. We didn't hear a word about Raya to Arsenal. It was all Spurs and Chelsea and things. So, again, Arsenal have kind of popped up to us normal football fans out the blue. Who else is in the back burners? Because you could argue a couple of people need number ones, really. I do wonder why he picked Arsenal ahead of Bayern Munich, allegedly. Is it the challenge of dislodging Ramsdale? Do you think you're more likely to take Ramsdale's spot than a fit Manuel Neuer? Are you comfortable in London? Obviously, you're seeing what Arsenal is doing and what we're building. And for a keeper, I wouldn't quite say you're young, but you're not old for a 27-year-old. Is that a carrot? Obviously, you see what Arteta is doing, and his former goalkeeping coach, Kanya, is obviously at the club. Maybe that's added carrots. I don't know. We'll truthfully never know, really and truly. Just tuned in. Love Aaron, but Raya is excited signing, not going to lie. Nice one. Thank you for doing that, bro. Love the content. Hit the likes, folks. In your opinion, DG, what position do you think we need more than a keeper? Because I think we're nearly there depth-wise, but not sure what position we need to fill, though, but we'll see. I mean, if it was up to me, which is not, somebody said it, you know, if you could sign a right winger that could genuinely fight Saka / dislodge him, we're laughing. Personally, for me, I'm a big fan of our striking options. Would love Balogun to get opportunity. I don't think he's as good at this moment as fans are saying. That's not to say he's not good. It's just he's the messiah, and ultimately people are putting him at a platform that I don't think is sustainable. He's still learning. I think people can be very disrespectful to Eddie Nketiah, but to be fair to Eddie and Balogun, it's not really them. If we're trying to fight for the league and the Champions League and things, I just feel if we could get another gear up front, maybe someone that's obviously Jesus, Balogun, and Eddie are very different footballers, but they're all quite similar in that Jesus can hold up the ball. You heard it against Rowe, but you wouldn't say that's what he's known for. If you could find someone that can operate a bit more like a target man, a bit more of an aerial presence, just to have in the squad to give us something different, like a Giroud sort, I think we'd laugh. So I'd say if it was up to me, maybe a 9 or a winger or one of the two. I still think we're a bit short in midfield, really and truly. I like Smith Rowe being fit. Shout out to everyone who watched my tactical video on Smith Rowe. I like his ability to play on the left or the right-hand side of an 8. I like what Arteta could do with Havertz. Obviously, you've got Partey, you've got Jorginho, you've got Declan Rice, you've got Odegaard, you've got Fabio Vieira. I don't think you'll ever see it on a consistent basis, but the luxury of Zinchenko moving into midfield. I don't know if Arteta believes that it's that deep to sign a midfielder as much as me, but I personally think we'd be missing a trick, just one more midfielder, maybe someone that's more of an 8. I can't see us going for a number 6. So if I could, a right winger, a striker, another midfielder. Defense, I think we're kind of getting there, really and truly. I'm a fan of Turner, but do you know what? Maybe even Matt Turner's forced Arsenal's hand. Maybe it's not a thing where Raya's become available and we're moving. Maybe Matt Turner sat there and said, do you know what? I'm not really going to dislodge Ramsdale, and credit to him because he carries himself like a professional. I'm not going to dislodge him. I'm not American, but I know some of you are, but I can almost guarantee you without looking at any American tabloids, anytime Matt Turner plays for America, one of the questions is, you might need to leave Arsenal to play more first-team football. How can our number one not play enough football? So maybe there's that carrot of that. Maybe Matt Turner said, you know what, Arteta, one love for having me. I want to go play football. And we've said, you know what, there's an opportunity on this market to sign Raya. And whether it's Raya or Ramsdale, one of you are going to just have to hold the bench and the other one runs away with it. But I do think if he was to sign Raya and Ramsdale keeps developing at some point, either this season or next season, unless one of them is really accepting of being a number 2 and what comes with that, you're probably going to have to move one on, really and truly. So we'd have to see. But to go back to your question, you know, for me anyways, I don't think we need a left back and right back again per se. If you can bring in better quality, by all means do it. But I think with Timber's addition and what Arteta has been doing with a couple of players, and especially if Tierney stays, I don't think there's a need for a left back. If you could, I wouldn't mind another right-sided centre back, like out and out one, clearly better than Holding, but they'd have to kind of be accepting and have the acceptance that, well, I don't want them to accept it. I want them to try and play, but You know, Saliba and Gabriel, first choice centre back pairing. Timber and White able to play there. Throw Tomiyasu into that at a push. Declan Rice, if not that you ever want to see him centre back, but if push comes to shove, that's one. Wouldn't mind another right-sided. Big up Kirio. Wouldn't mind another right-sided centre back, but I don't think that's a need, and I don't know if there's necessarily space for such. Big up yourself, smash the like button. Matt Turner is a decent keeper, but he's not quite good enough to keep Ramsdale on his toes. Sorry, what's going on? Someone's trying to kill me. Oh my God, sorry, folks. Good. All right, take two. Yeah, man, Ramsdale seems to be at his best when he's constantly facing shots. I think Ramsdale's at his best when, that's what I meant by the level of focus. I think when Ramsdale has to do bare things, he's lit. But when he kind of has to relax and things, he kind of slips off. And to be fair with you, as much as I'm saying that, there's been times where Ramsdale hasn't done what I've just said and other players have let him down and he's absolutely bollocked them. Like, well, I can't remember the game, but there was a game last season where it was relative one-way traffic. And I think Zinchenko did something stupid and he was like, don't effing take the P. Ramsdale had some nightmares. Everyone's had nightmares in this team, man. But also Ramsdale saved us as well. Do you see Smith Rowe with a future at Arsenal? Minutes have been limited last season and pre-season. Seems to be strengthening positions he plays also. I think he does. And to be fair, he's got to make his name for it, innit? You know, it started off really positively after a testing period in Arsenal's first team where he was on the fringes, came back from Huddersfield, you know, around Boxing Day, playing week in, week out, new deal, number 10, scoring in big games, playing with Bukayo Saka, hailing, dreaming. Now it's the reality. You're at number 10. You're at the pinnacle. The only way is down. Are you going to stay up there or are you going to drop? Good or bad seasons happen. I believe in Smith Rowe. I believe a fit Smith Rowe. I ain't going to lie. It's Martinelli's spot to lose and I'm happy with Trossard, but you can fight them for the left-hand side. You can fight to play as a 10. Personally, I want to see you play in that 8 role. I think there's enough for you to have. Plus, if nothing more, he's shown he can be a squad player and a super sub. But with Smith Rowe, he has to stay fit. Like, he had 2 surgeries last season. Obviously, he started Arsenal's preseason on the back burner because he's more or less just returned from England duty where they won the cup. So yeah, by God's grace, Smith Rowe stays fit. Another thing I've also done in a tactical vid as well, people. We've spoken on such people. So yeah, check them out. Spurs didn't want to pay 40 million for Raya. Now Arsenal might get him for competition with Ramsdale's levels of difference. The levels are different, man, but we can't keep comparing ourselves to Spurs or laughing at them, man. We don't want to be in that territory, really. Them lot of failures. I like Turner, but I could understand if Turner says, you know what, I'm going to go play football, really. And if Nottingham Forest are giving you that platform or whatever, who knows? And it's unclear if Matt Turner is signing for, to me anyways, for Nottingham Forest on loan or permanent. Are Arsenal trying to get a permanent fee for him, get him off the wage bill? Not that he's the most significant earner. I'm not sure. You know, our club's unwilling, because when I look at Austin Trusty, even though he's a bit irrelevant to what I'm about to say, just based off today, if you look at Trusty news, Lokonga news, Matt Turner news, for every article that links them with a permanent switch, there's a loan. So is it a thing where Matt Turner, hopefully Lokonga, Lull, and all these other guys, you go out on loan for another year? We hope you have great, a bit like, obviously not Balogun, but Balogun in that people are talking about them and you put themselves in the shop window. I said Austin Trusty is a bit irrelevant to that because I feel he's, you know, if we was doing some Arsenal loan awards for all the people that went out on loan, Balogun's going to win it, of course. Man got 20 odd goals. Technically, out of all the strikers contracted to Arsenal Football Club, he scored the most goals. But I think Austin Trusty honestly would be second, or if not, he's top 3. I think he had a really good loan spell at Birmingham, and I'm actually surprised he's still at the club, because I just thought it seemed like he was someone that was going to be moved on, and it didn't seem like there was an issue. Is he reading Twitch as well? Of course. Fans are too quick, man. Fans are very reactionary. As you saw towards the tail end of the season, that away from the results, not a single player was safe. I hit North and get one of them jerk kebabs, man. Ramsdale better away from home in those hostile environments. I hear that. And it's silly, but sometimes, again, I guess Ramsdale makes himself a target. When you see him geeing up the fans, it's easy to say, raw, you're not focused. Some shiny new toy syndrome did it with Partey when Rice come in, doing it to Ramsdale. Now we're linked with Raya. And Ramsdale, I want him to say, no, you're not. You're not taking my spot. Same way, if you was a key player for Arsenal Football Club last season, regardless of what us fans, myself included, have to say about Timber, about Rice, about Havertz, about this guy, that guy, make sure it's not your spot. Benjamin White, tell Timber to suck out and keep your spot. Simple as that. It's your spot to lose, and it's a Euros for a couple players. You know, Ramsdale, You're probably not going to be the number one ahead of Pickford, but it's become a legitimate conversation. You will get called up regardless, in my opinion, but I'm sure you want to be number one and you want to play, simply put, you want to play games. The same goes for White, the same goes for Saliba, Timber, all of these guys. Make sure you're the ones playing, really. And I think fans in general, I think football fans, but Arsenal fans, I think we like to have it both ways. I think fans like, yeah, we need depth. There's a lot of games. The minute we start getting depth and competition, like somebody said, any player that's not involved, they're done. Their days are over. It's all doom and gloom. Or Arteta's a bad guy for not playing this, that, and the other. And one thing I like about Arteta, no one can ever do things perfectly. No one controls time. But especially around our young players, I'm not going to lie. I think if Saliba stayed, he could have been a lot better. He could have taken the chances that were afforded to Mustafi, Socrates, probably triggering PTSD, all of them kind of players there at the time. But Arteta played him when he thought he was ready, and we're laughing. It don't matter about the past. He's gone on loan. He's had couple good loan spells. He's laughing. The season before, people saying Martinelli needs to leave. Arteta don't like him. He don't rate him. Now look where he's going, from strength to strength. So I think he does things at the right times, really. And yeah, man, you just never know what the gaffer is planning, essentially. I think this is how the squad is being built. There's competition near enough all over the park, and I'm liking the competition in the team. Shout yourself, Riley. Amen, Terry. Trusty process, Birmingham player of the season, good athlete. We better get good money. Turner if we get Raya. To be fair, Austin Trusty has to bring 5 million for someone that's been at the club 2 minutes. Sell on clause, we keep it moving. Matt Turner, I'm unclear, because if I'm asked, I'm sitting there saying, listen, which he is, he's a very good goalie. It's just, Ramsdale's better than you, innit? You're America's number one. We need to get decent money. And on top of that, we know the Premier League's got cash. We've seen Nottingham Forest maybe so much last season by like 100 players. You stayed in the Prem as well. Give us some decent money, because Turner, how many times have we seen it? Assuming he signs permanently, we play Matt Turner, Nottingham Forest. The man's going to look like a prime Buffon or something. So we need decent money. You're right on Austin Trusty as well. Every little helps though, but we've let a couple of young players go. If you get a decent bids for Balogun, for Trusty, for Matt Turner, really, ironically, the 3 Americans, which is quite sad, because I find it quite special that when we've gone off to America the last 2 years, we've had an American player. Same way if we went Brazil, it'd be nice to have Jesus in there, like connection with the fans and that. Obviously we need to get them gone. Trusty should bring in decent money. Balogun should bring in decent money. We're kind of at where we're at with the Tavareses, the Lokongas, the Pepes, the Cedrics of this world. And I think the club will just be happy to just free up their wages and just look a lot more healthier, if I'm completely honest with you. Smith Rowe shown he can impact games from the bench last season. Even when he was fit, he showed that. Name your ideal midfield 3 with what we have for 1 Anfield and 2 Burnley at home. Good question. Anfield right now, Odegaard, Partey, and Declan Rice. I think that's, I think Odegaard's quite good on the press. I think Odegaard, obviously, you need him to play them wavy passes. Rice and Partey, it's a day for the trenches, a day where you need physicality, really and truly. Burnley at home, with the greatest of respect, because they'll try and impose ourselves. I think them games there is where Arteta could play Rice and Partey and one of the 10s, or you could do the little, Rice or Partey, one of you as the lone 6. Smith Rowe, Odegaard, you lot do the rotating 8 things, but to not overcomplicate it, as I said, Anfield away, midfield trio would be Odegaard, Rice, and Partey. Burnley at home, as you said, I'd probably more likely to experiment with Rice, Havertz, and obviously Odegaard, if that answers that. Good question. We'll look at that in a sec. Smith Rowe and Leao going to cook this season. I hope Trossard cooks, man. We need the whole squad. Big up DG. Making them Smith Rowe videos made me realize how good this guy is. I haven't sold my stocks. Don't sell your stocks, man, but it's up to him. He's got to go out and do the job, man, really, and just shut fans up. What do you make of us going hard for Caicedo in Jan, but having no real links to him this summer? Maybe Rice was always number 1 target and he wasn't available in Jan, so we just went for the next best we could try to get in Jan. I think we needed a midfield body. Clearly there was an admiration for Caicedo, and there must have been some level of it. To be fair, I'll still get criticised a lot, but there had to have been some level of encouragement from whoever is advising Caicedo that this could be done. Ultimately, it didn't happen. I do wonder, because, you heard we tried to, see if we could get Rice in January, which obviously isn't going to happen for obvious reasons. West Ham are not going to let him go. And apparently, when I remember going back in Jan, when we was reading them reports, they said, regardless, we're still going to go for Declan Rice in the summer. So maybe that was that. Maybe, things have changed with Granit Xhaka leaving. Maybe Arteta simply just changed his mind. I'm not too sure. If you could bring Caicedo, I'd be on it, because that's the long-term Partey replacement. You've got Rice, you'd have Caicedo, you'd have Rice, you'd have whatever you want to do with the Odegaards, the Zinchenko, Zinchenko's, the Fabio Vieiras, the Smith Rowes, and all them kind of guys of this world. I think next summer we'll need to buy another 6 because I don't know if Thomas Partey and or Jorginho or El Nene will still be here. But I think if you was to give me the money to sign a midfielder now, I think it's got to be somebody more in the 8 realm, really, if I'm honest with you. Because I think we're a bit too defensive in midfield, if I'm honest. And I hope Havertz can score goals because at the end of the day, last season, when last did Arsenal have a goal scorer in midfield or goal scoring midfielders? Fair enough, Xhaka has never been known for being a goal scorer, but he got 7 goals, 7 assists in the Prem. Odegaard got 15. Fair enough. Partey chipped in with 1-2, but he's never going to be prolific. With Xhaka gone, at this moment in time, that's 7 goals gone. Odegaard, I hope you can get 15 league goals again, but that was your first sort of time doing that. I don't know if you're going to do that again. So I would kind of like another number 8, if that makes sense, man. When's the next FM stream? Probably like 4:40 today. Saw this question on the Big Six. If you could swap one Big Six team signing for one of our big name signings, what would you do? I.e. take McAllister, take out McAllister. Sorry, take McAllister and take out Havertz. That's a good question. Really, I'd have to think. What signings have there been? Spurs don't really want no one over them sides. Who's United bought? Oh, Nano. Fair enough. Another keeper he's linked with. Fair enough. Smash the like button and big up the Twitch gang. Liverpool, McAllister would be lit. Shabozley, I like him. Well, you know what? Probably the McAllister Havertz thing, really. City, ooh, you know what? Assuming they signed that Gavdal guy, the centre-back, and I've 100% butchered the creation's name, forgive me, I'd swap Havertz or something for him. Oh, I can't lie. I'd swap Havertz. I'd literally swap Havertz for Kovacic. I can't lie. Big up Havertz. But I've been big on Kovacic. You think Trossard can chip in too? If you can't chip in, then you shouldn't be here. Yeah, starting lineup for the Community Shield is different. It's difficult, man. But again, the way I look at the Community Shield is basically the Premier League started. So if you're asking me at 8 minutes past 4 p.m. on the 31st of July, again, I can't talk about Raya because you're not signed for the football club at this moment. If you are to sign, so Ramsdale. The thing is, Zinchenko's probably not going to play. He might be fit and big him up, but he's played no part in pre-season really. So Ramsdale, Gabriel, Saliba. You know what? I should say White, but something just tells me throw Timber in at the deep end. I'd say Timber, Saka, Odegaard, Rice, Partey, Martinelli on the left. The only concerns probably is it Benjamin White or Timber on the right hand side and his left back. If Zinchenko is fit and he's passed all fitness tests, then you get out there for me. If I'm honest, I'm more likely to say Tierney. Tierney would be my first choice. I have liked what I've seen from Tomiyasu, and I do like Kyrgios developing in that little left back role, man. And for them players there, the more you can outperform in more roles, the reality is that's how you can get games. Because I like Kyrgios, I like how you're developing, but in an ideal world, you might not get football because in Arteta's mind, Zinchenko would always be fit. Obviously, Benjamin White and, you don't play on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side. So that rules out right back. You have played right-sided centre-half. You're not going to touch Saliba's spot really and truly. But, yeah, in an ideal world, you want people pushing for spots. So I'd go with that, man, really. To be honest, we need a squad to compete with City and the rest is easier said than done, man. Next show for us is Messi, Miami versus Orlando City Derby in the League Cup phase. Big up DG talking facts. One love across the pond. Raya is better than Ramsdale. Listen, both of them signing for Arsenal and they have it out, isn't it, really? I want what's best for Arsenal, really, because if Raya plays and he drops a clang, everyone's going to say play Ramsdale. I think we will see Timber left back again. There is obviously that until he's back. Not tempted to go Timber left, and if Zinni's not available, did well against Barca. So there is a shout, but bro, like I hear it. Timber can play left back, but I'm not being funny. It's your first proper game. It's a final. You're playing City. I'd rather guys just play. Even though he's comfortable on the left, clearly playing you on your favoured side might be that couple of percentages required to get us there. So, as I said, I see it like the Premier League starting. He can do it, but if the Premier League starts tomorrow, that's kind of my thinking. So I'd go Tierney. Let me do it again. Tierney again up until I'm told Zinchenko's fit. I'm gonna irrelevate him from it. Tierney, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Ramsdale, Rice, Partey, Odegaard on the right. Obviously Saka on the left. Big up Trossard, but Martinelli and obviously the big man Jesus through the middle. Really, Arteta will have one for the champs and one for the Prem. No, we're not gonna have 22 different players. Some players might cross over and that, but it's a myth, man. Ramsdale's distribution in pre-season has been poor, but I still back him. I think we should move into the mindset of having options and stop calling other players bench player. Well, you're on the bench until you decide otherwise, but his impact is, as Arteta said, and I hear it, but I also disagree with that because against Barcelona in the second half, I think he put on a clinic with some of his passes, if I'm honest with you. Chances will present themselves throughout the season. Who's on the bench got to be ready mentally to take the opportunity when presented. Neil, you said it there. Take keyword in that whole sentence, even though you're spitting facts. Take your opportunities. You take them, give Arteta a headache, you're running with it, really. And for players that might not necessarily be troubled with assuming we sign Raya or, you know, if you're not impacted by the incomings, don't think you're safe because Arteta's always looking to improve and evolve the squad. So don't think you're safe, man. This weekend we have City. What is your prediction? I don't understand the question. What is a prediction? You know, I predict that we'll give a strong account of ourselves and we'll work extremely hard to get a positive result. You know, one that the fans that are watching abroad can be proud of, and obviously those at Wembley. Really, that's what I predict. I predict Mikel Arteta will be working hard in training, giving the players all the tools capable of fighting City, and you know, obviously bringing the first available silverware home. Now that was a diplomatic answer. Now I think I've just got to be positive. It's City in it. I'm not gonna lie, I do have a bad feeling, but. Optimistic thing. Let's go 2-0 City, man. Will you be doing a watch along for the City game? 100%. Where you see Tommy playing this season, I don't think he should be left back because I don't think he's great in the build-up. That's true, but then as we're starting to get more other players around the field who could do that, it becomes kind of redundant. And I think Tomiyasu, in comparison to some of his teammates, is very, you know, conservative and things. But there'll be games for Tomiyasu to play. And I just see him as someone for Arteta. Like, he's got to be a manager's dream. He's relatively both-footed, can play all across the back three, clearly intelligent because throughout Tomiyasu's time at Arsenal, you've seen him kind of do this inverted thing and you've seen him play as an organic fullback. I actually think naturally, you know, his kind of progression is to just be a centre half here, man. Big up the Jamaicans, man. I'd love to sign Mbappe, but dream chasing, almost as much dream chasing as being linked with the Napoli lad, really and truly. I want Martinelli, Trossard, Saka to start the season. Put your best finishers up front. Pace, trickery, unpredictability, direct goals. I want a Liverpool style attack, efficiency, thoughts. I wouldn't mind that, but I just think Jesus has to play. Unless you bring a striker back, I think Jesus has to play. Think Havertz gets 15 plus league goals for us next season. Those runs he makes from that left centre mid channel role looks impossible to mark. I think he'll get a couple of goals for Arsenal and the back post. Raya does make mistakes, less frequently, but as I said, just type in playoff, just type in David Raya mistake. You'll see him make a mistake in the playoffs. He's definitely made a mistake a few years ago against City where Sterling picked off his pocket, and he recently did one against Newcastle. I'm not trying to belittle Raya or gas up Ramsdale. Everybody makes mistakes. If you don't make a mistake, you're not trying anything, or you might not be human, really. It's naive to expect if somebody plays 38 games, they will never have a bad game. They'll never make a mistake. There'll never be an error in judgment. Everybody's made mistakes. Mikel Arteta has done a lot great this season, but I'm sure if we ever got the luxury of asking him, he'd sit and say, I've made mistakes. Playing devil's advocate, maybe a mistake is relying on certain players, you know, to fill the void left with other players if other players get injuries. Maybe it was not playing Kirill sooner. Maybe it was persisting with certain players when their form was at home. I don't know. But everyone makes mistakes. I think that's very harsh and a very simple way of looking at things. Who would you say are Arteta's top three signings? Very difficult because you put me on the spot, but I'd throw Martin Odegaard up there. Definitely top three Martin Odegaard, 100%. I think Rice will be there, but I'd say Odegaard up there. He never signed Thomas Partey, did he? So that's irrelevant. I'd say Odegaard, Zinchenko, because you see what Zinchenko brings to the system. I want to throw Jesus in there, just biased. That's a good question, man. Bit concerning that Saka still really has no competition or pressure for that right wing. I don't think he signed Partey, actually. You know, I think Emery might have been here. If we play like Liverpool, we found out quickly, I think, and the Gen press is an injury-prone tactic. But to be fair, you know, we do press quite a lot. Interesting talking points and questions, man. Appreciate that. Get out my head, DG. You're thinking like I am with the team, but maybe that's because we like playing out from the back with the pool playing squads that are free-flowing. I mean, I agree with you, my guy. But to be fair, in the modern day, even if you're a team that's not necessarily known for playing out from the back, the keeper has to be somewhat comfortable with a ball at his feet. You know, look at United. Their fortune, regardless of how United season ends or whatever they do, they're going to play a lot better purely because of De Gea's gone. That's not the only factor, but De Gea's gone. De Gea is not comfortable with a ball at his feet. That Onana guy's got a lot of issues, but he's clearly very comfortable. In the modern day, you need to be able to play that. Even City's second choice. Yeah, Emre signed him, so I don't think Arteta did, man. Arteta signed Partey, Deluded, huh? We brought Partey after FA Cup season on deadline day. I can't lie, I don't know. But if he signed Partey, if Arteta signed Partey, then he's up there. Trust he could allegedly go to Sheffield United, people. And again, I would have liked to have seen him at least make a debut. Smash the like button if you haven't. It would have been nice to see him at least play a game for Arsenal. But the reality is, if we can make bank, then we can make bank. If we just start to look at, hey, what's going on here? Why isn't the Brave browser working? This is annoying. Okay, I don't know why that wasn't letting me show the screen, but nonetheless, allegedly, now again, I've covered this in a video before, and I'm sure you've all typed things in online, and it's an ever-changing landscape. But in relation to David Raya, as you know, allegedly Arsenal have an interest in him. Arsenal are set to make offer for Brentford's David Raya after Bayern Munich loan rejected. Allegedly, he's valued at 40 million by Brentford. And apparently, we want Raya to compete, keyword compete, with Ramsdale. We're expected to launch a surprise bid to sign Raya after Brentford rejected a loan offer from Bayern Munich for the Spanish goalie. As we said, the 27-year-old's contract is set to expire in the summer. He's rejected 2 offers of extending that at Brentford. And they've put a £40 million asking price, people. Tottenham decided against pursuing a move for him earlier this summer. It is understood Arsenal have now expressed an interest in signing him to compete with Ramsdale for the starting 11. Arsenal are expected to submit a formal offer in an attempt to test Brentford's resolve. I wonder if Arsenal is saying, can we do this for 15, 20, 25, maybe 30, really? You know, there's no real need to pay the asking price as good as he is, really. It's nice to be on the other side, really, of these sort of things. Apparently, he's believed to be in favour of a move to North London over Bayern. The German champions are looking to provide cover for Manuel Neuer, who is still recovering after breaking his leg in a mid-season skiing accident. They had identified Raya as their primary target, but despite Jan Sommer being expected to join Inter Milan this week, Bayern's offer to take Raya on loan was rejected by Brentford, and negotiations are now on hold. Apparently, he continues to train with the Brentford squad on their pre-season tour of the US. In May, they signed the Netherlands international Mark Flenkick from Freiburg to be their new number 1. And I mean, Brentford knew, considering the landscape, that this summer would probably be the last time he spends in West London. Apparently, Thomas Frank said, I think it's natural that he would like to leave if it's for a good opportunity for himself. We all think it's a good idea at the right price. And apparently he's spoken about they want 40 million and he doesn't think that's unrealistic. And he pointed to the examples of Harry Kane and Declan Rice, people. So we'll have to see how that develops. Allegedly, Romano's also said this as well, that we're actually, where Raya's concerned, that we're actually beginning to talk about personal terms and things like that. Once again, the initial report from Ornstein yesterday, Sunday, said we're exploring a move for the Brentford goalie, David Raya, and we want him to compete. Once again, Brentford have yet to receive an offer from Arsenal or any other team, but are aware of their interest, allegedly. And apparently we've begun talks with his reps over personal terms. Brentford are adamant they will not budge on their 40 million valuation, people. As the market goes on, they might sell to abroad, they might sell him somewhere else, but right now they're keeping their cards close to their chest. Arsenal continue to push ahead with their pursuit of the Spain international, and according to Romano, have held talks with the players' camp. Arsenal want to get personal terms and a salary agreement in place before ramping up talks with Brentford, and they do not anticipate any issues from Raya's side. He's keen to move to the Emirates despite the presence of well-established number 1 Ramsdale, while he would rather stay in London than move to Bayern, who remain interested despite a breakdown in talks with Brentford. Gotta remember, Ramsdale 2 minutes ago signed a new deal. We don't really care about what Harry Kane's doing. Arsenal appear to be in pole position to land the shot stopper, though it will take an offer in the region of 40 million to convince Brentford to sell, with Thomas Frank reiterating that position on Sunday. He's worth 40 million. I'd love to get that for him. He was one of the 4 best keepers in the Prem last season, said the Brentford manager. Don't think you can disagree with that. What is the price for the player with 1 year left? Declan Rice went to Arsenal for 105. Is that a fair price? Harry Kane, 1 year left. They're talking about 150 million. I mean, Arsenal clearly overpaid for Declan Rice as much as I like him. You know, it's just the going rate. If you think the player is that good enough and he can add to your squad, if you don't pay, someone else will take him away. And the same goes, hopefully, with Harry Kane and elsewhere, essentially. And what I would say, you know, they come with the English tax as well. So it's a bit of a myth, but I don't think Frank is wrong with what he's asking. And all these Prem teams know everyone's got money. Anyways, it's not up to me. It's always complicated. 2 sides of the coin when it comes to negotiations, and we meet somewhere in the middle. As you know, we have tried to sign Raya several times, and we tried to sign him several years ago before we turned to Ramsdale. You know, again, he worked with a previous goalkeeping coach at Brentford and now Arsenal, and Naki Kanya, who ironically now is at Arsenal. So, I mean, he could obviously give Arteta the what's what if he needed it. So there's that. We already know, people, apparently the language around this is he's expected to compete, not replace Ramsdale. So we'll have to see. Arteta wants competition to raise the level of his squad, and the club's transfer business has been geared towards achieving that. As you know, Benjamin White versus Timber is a serious debate. Partey can play with or, can be benched for Declan Rice. Smith Rowe was handed the 10 shirt, but now you've got Fabio Vieira, Trossard, Odegaard, all of these guys that can fight you for that role. So why not? It's all about the collective goal. As you know, Ramsdale at this moment is our established number one. And right now, in May, he signed a new deal. He's knocking on the door of being first choice England keeper as well. Raya would not be moving to North London to sit on the bench. And even with Arsenal having more games due to being back in the Champions League this season, it's hard to envisionize a world where both keepers are happy. Exactly. I think there's very, very few opportunities where that's happened. We've had to sell Martinez. We've seen it with Leno and Czech. We've seen it with Ramsdale and Leno. We've seen it at a couple of other clubs, United with Dean Henderson. As I said earlier, Chelsea when they had Courtois in Czech at the time. Ironically, the whole reason we got him. As you know, Matt Turner is expected to leave people, and as we know, unfortunately, there's a drop-off. Where Matt Turner goes, I don't know. Apparently, Arsenal's interest in the Brentford goalkeeper is nothing new, and it shouldn't. To be fair, 40 million quid for a 27-year-old, I can't blame them. Bearing in mind they're being a bit greedy, though. Year left on his deal, and they signed him for 3 million, which shows you it pays to scout. Nottingham Forest allegedly are eyeing Matt Turner as he falls down the Arsenal pecking order. It's one of them where you wish you could play him more, but fundamentally, you're just not starting quality. But you are good enough to get football elsewhere, people. But for what it's worth, as I said earlier, has Matt Turner asked to leave? And this is a knock-on effect. Would we sanction Matt Turner departing unless we get the green light and ultimately get over the line with Raya? I don't know. Who knows, really and truly. If Raya were to sign for Arsenal, Turner would likely be relegated to third choice behind Ramsdale and the new man, leading to speculation that he would be looking for a move away. As it stands, it's understood there's distance between what Arsenal value Turner at and what Nottingham Forest would be willing to pay for a new goalkeeper this summer. But aren't they trying to get Dean Henderson? So without knowing that, but if they get Dean Henderson and you, Matt Turner, aren't you kind of in the same situation? I don't know, people. Arsenal allegedly are said to be aware of the Premier League rivals' interest in the player, though, and dialogue between the two teams is ongoing. Fair enough, really and truly. Fair enough, Matt Turner. He's only been here for 2 seconds, essentially. So we'd have to see. Apparently, Inter Milan are trying to get Balogun, and they're ready to move. And apparently, they ready complicated offer for Balogun. Will Arsenal accept? Probably along with an obligation to buy. Let's skip to exactly, the bulk of this. Inter are eager to bring the 22-year-old onto their books as American players flock to Italy in the summer transfer window, but they're unable to match Arsenal's 40 to 50. Sorry, I'm reading two things at once. 50 million pound asking price, or euros there, 43 million quid asking price. As a result, a complicated deal that could suit all parties is being discussed. According to this report, Inter are looking to take Balogun on a season-long loan agreement that would include a 35 million euro purchase clause that will be triggered once the promising forward has hit defined targets. That doesn't really help us because it doesn't really help us because we're not getting money, and we don't want to have to do this a year from now where he'd have a year left on his contract next summer. So we'll have to see. But Balogun's future is subject to speculation. Everywhere you read says something a bit different in relation to Austin Trusty. Some say he's gone on loan. Some say 5 million. Some say he's a long way away from going. But apparently Sheffield United are closing in on signing the Arsenal man. Once again, some say loan, some say permanent. I'm sure Arsenal would want to get him off the books purely because he brings a transfer fee in, and he did have a good loan spell in the Championship. Apparently, the deal to bring him to Bramall Lane will be a permanent one with a fee of 5 million muted. Rangers tried to buy him, but it doesn't seem like they were successful, and he has 2 American caps. So he leaves with our blessing. You've done what you're doing. Once again, Arsenal exit looming for Austin Trusty as Sheffield United target summer deal. So there you have that. And apparently he's also got interest not only from Sheffield United, but also from Ipswich and Swansea. Arsenal would consider loaning out the USA international or accepting a permanent offer. Fair enough. So we're open to everything. We've been linked with KK of Napoli. Again, I've got little time to read this. I don't think anyone believes that we can get him. Again, anything's possible if you put down the cash in this life. But Napoli got no real reason to sell him. They've just won Serie A. He's probably under contract for a long period. Napoli are difficult to do business with. And anything can happen, but we've spent about 200 million quid. You're going to need to probably bid 100 and some change to even get a conversation started. They know they have an appreciating asset, and they know one day if he keeps developing, the Real Madrids and these kind of teams of this world will move for him. For what it's worth, would love him to sign for Arsenal, but I can't believe it. And I've got little to no interest of boring you lot with this. I just simply put clickbait, people. Some articles say because we're now working with some sporting director that spent time at Spezia, we're using them links to try to get him. It's a myth, people. It's an absolute myth. The man's a quality player. 14 goals and 17 assists in 48 appearances for 10 million quid. It pays to do your scouting, innit? Because the tax that gets added on is crazy. And he's contracted until 2027. So if you want to entertain that in it, people. And look, it's creative journalism. I'd love to be wrong. But allegedly we've expressed an interest in KK. I think everyone and their nan would be interested. Lokonga's another one who's kind of half been linked with a loan, and a permanent one is him to Burnley, keeps rumbling on. Whether he'll keep it moving is a completely different thing, people. But Burnley are leading the race to sign Lokonga this summer, allegedly. Another loan could be on the cards or a permanent sale, and Burnley are currently the favourites to sign Lokonga. Hopefully it gets done, really and truly. Can we just make back our 18 odd million quid and keep it moving? I think there's a player in him. Just unfortunately, you're just not good enough, really, at this moment in time for what we need. You're just not levels. You're not mature enough, in my opinion, and capable enough to play as a lone six. I mean, some people are saying play him in the 8 run. I'm sure he can, but we're Arsenal Football Club. I'm not being funny. Like all the 8s that we've seen play for this football club, man, want to pay money or stay up to watch on TV and that to watch Lokonga play in the 8 role. Come on now, people. But for what it's worth, Arsenal are prioritising the departure of fringe players at this stage of the window and are also in talks over the exit of defender Austin Trusty. Sheffield United are leading the race to sign Trusty, and once again, we're open to selling him on a permanent basis or loaning him out for another season. Everyone's kind of echoing the same things here. Let's just make sure we don't miss anything. Arsenal and Burnley are in advanced talks to find an agreement for Lokonga on a loan deal that includes an option to buy, which could be mandatory and better yet, should be mandatory should he play a certain amount of matches. Because if he just does what he's done in the couple of years he's been at Arsenal, the half a year at Crystal Palace, we're going to struggle to move him on. That the man's clearly got a talent, but you're not doing anything really. Inter are not able to pay what Arsenal want for Balogun. They are now planning to propose a loan with a mandatory buy clause of 35 million plus add-ons. We're expected to confirm the extension of our Emirates partnership in the next couple of days, people. On Kudus, Ben Jacobs, I don't know if he's credible, as allegedly said, Arsenal, I think, are quite content to sit back at this point. They've had a great window so far. They spent a lot of money. So I think Arsenal will be looking first and foremost to resolve the ongoing situation before they move. And that will include advancing on anything for Kudus at this moment. Fabrizio and David Raya has said, Bayern were keen to sign him, but the deal now looks to be collapsing with the player favouring a move to the Emirates Stadium. I'm told Arsenal's interest in Raya is genuine. He's been on the radar for years and they believe this is a big opportunity on the market. Arsenal have always appreciated him and Mikel Arteta is a big fan, but now it will be down to the clubs to reach an agreement. Fair enough. It don't appear that there's anything else in that regards. Once again, we're starting talks with the camp of David Raya about joining the club on a permanent basis. So it firmly, you can see we're focusing on outgoings at this moment. Matt Turner is being considered by Forest as one of the 2 planned goalkeeper additions, although there is a distance between what the clubs value him at and there's no guarantee a move will happen. Arsenal know Forest are looking at him and dialogue continues, says David Ornstein, people. So we'll have to see. And the Bitello stuff won't go away. We're seeing the same things that we keep seeing that Edu is closing in on that move. He's available for 8.5 million quid. So we'll have to watch that one closely, really. But with that ends the transfer news sort of part, people. Bit concerning that Saka still really has no competition or pressure for that right wing. Amen, man. It's just down to Arteta to find that. Arteta started December 2019. We got part in the summer. Time flies, especially now that we've been all right. Or we bought him in, we got my man then. So I'd throw Arteta, I'd throw Partey into that then. I wouldn't know for top 3, but I'd say Odegaard, Zinchenko, Partey, Jesus easily there. Can I say the reintegration of Saliba? Smart way to commit Ramsdale to a new deal before going for Raya or any other goalkeeper. We'll probably get Raya for 25 to 30 million. We need that keeper. Remember, we are playing Champions League, so we need 2 good goalkeepers. I hear that. It's a hell of a line, man. Lokonga wrong mentally for this club and where we want to go. He's just not with it, man. He's just I think he's got a good mentality. You're just not the guy. It's all right. Sometimes it just goes wrong. You're just not the guy. Love Ramsdale, but some of his distribution has been woeful in pre-season. May the best win. I back Ramsdale, but I don't care who starts. Bro, if the right players start, we're here to win games. We're not here to make friends. And if you're on the pitch, take your opportunity. Same way last season, Smith Rowe, you as a peripheral figure. Season before that, if we wanted to win games, you needed to play. The same could be said to Tierney and Tomiyasu. Time waits for no one. I think this season against ball-dominant teams like Brighton and City, we will need to try to be direct and play the long ball, but against low blocks, we will build up from the back with possession. I hear you. Trusty played against MLS All-Stars. Eddie triggered the release clause for Part A and P the Atletico off last minutes. That's their business. Not that we negotiate with them quite a lot. So we'll have to see how that develops. But yeah, look, Congo, we just need to get our money back, man. We just need to get our money back. Simple as that. Sometimes it just doesn't work out in life. We just need to get our bread back. People, if you haven't smashed the like button, make sure you smash the like button. 5 million for Trusty is poor business by Arsenal. You reckon? For someone that ain't played a game for Arsenal, I do think you could afford to loan him out again because his price tag could rise, especially if he keeps getting called up by America. He's only 23 and he has a great loan spell like he did. I don't think 5 million is bad business, but in a day and age where clubs are greedy and clubs are making other clubs overpay, I somewhat agree with you, really. But maybe Arsenal's, we're on this. Do you know what? We're going to make a profit at the end of the day. He's been at Arsenal 2 minutes. We need to recoup some funds after spending. Maybe that's just what we're trying to do at this moment. But with it just being shy of an hour, people, I'm well aware that I'm going to play Football Manager. I'm going to load that up for you, Twitch gang, in 10 minutes. If you haven't subscribed or smashed the like button, you know what to do. And appreciative to all of you lot across Twitch and YouTube for your talking points, for your opinions, for your difference of opinions, and for listening, people. And again, if we don't see each other until the new month, happy new month in advance. It's August tomorrow. And I hope July has been great for you. I hope today's been great. It's Monday. It's only going to get easier. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Smash the like button. Check out the rest of the content. Check out the tactical analysis. There will be a video dropping in relation to David Raya tonight. So make sure your notification bell's on. So yeah, man. Bless.
So it's always just that active and defending. I think it's like. So it's always just that active and defending. I think it's like.
Tongue